I was outside tweaking the belt system just a little bit more. And I was thinking, it's okay if a creeper sneaks up on me because I have these chunks claimed and there's no way he can blow them up. And then I thought, oh wait, do I have them claimed all the way back there? And then a creeper snuck up on me. Yeah. So let's make sure we do have them claimed. Nope. We don't. Explosions disabled, chunk loaded. Okay, good. Doesn't really have to be chunk loaded. You know what, let's load those though, because those are going to be involved in processing. This will be involved in automation. Yeah, we should definitely claim these as well. Yeah. So that should protect them from creeper graffiti. A little bit of creeper graffiti out there. Okay, and I'll show you in a second what I did to tweak the conveyor system. And this fella right here is part of it. He's part of the reason. Let's see here. Let's get some crafting. Get some crafting done. I'm trying not to have another horrible cough like I did that one time. Actually, I'm not going to be able to stop coughing. I'm going to cut here. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome for not making you hear that. So this was the reason why I wanted to change this part. I wanted this to be covered just because it looks better. It makes it into a whole block instead of just being part of a block. So I put the drawer controller out here. Now what that's going to mean is the drawer controller is no longer touching the drawers, right? Well, that's a problem. But there's a fantastic block in storage drawer. There's a fantastic block in storage drawers, and it is called the trim. Trim. Where are you, trim? I know you're there. Maybe I did something weird here. There it is. Spruce trim. Spruce trim. So 5 planks and 4 sticks. That's easy. That's 4 sticks. And some planks. There we go. And this is useful for a couple of things. One of them is to connect your storage controller if you need to. See, the spruce trim doesn't contain anything at all. It's just a dumb block, right? It just sits there. But it counts when it comes to connecting the drawer controller or other drawers. So here's another example. See if we have some other drawers. Not yet. Man, that thing that made me cough, it's killing me. Go ahead and make 6 more drawers. Okay. So let's say we've got drawers here, right? And we'll have one here and here. That's fine, they're all touching. Cool. Now, what about if we wanted to have some over here? Or, let's say, take these two. Let's say we want to have them like this. You know, if we stick drawers in the corner, for example, and then we stick 2 more drawers like this, well, we can't even see the ones in the corner, right? So what's the point of having them there if we can't even see them? That's another good use for trim. you can stick trim up into the corners, and it makes it so that the blocks are all touching. So you got your drawers, you got some trim there, you got some more drawers, you know, and you can use that to wrap around corners. And like we said, you can use it to reach out and touch a drawer controller. So it's pretty awesome. It's a great way to create a room like we're going to. Excuse me. It's a great way to make a room like we are going to, that has a whole bunch of drawers covering all the walls, but it still wraps around the corners without having, you know, drawers with just something stuck in it. Because if you're using a drawer controller the way we are, it'll still try to stick stuff in there. You just won't be able to see it. So it seems like I need to go chopping down some wood, so that we have enough wood to fill this thing. So I'm going to go do that. By the way, I noticed it a little while ago, but have you noticed how this big clump of trees here is just this huge, it's like a giant bush. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to hack into that thing. Okay, so I think I showed you this several episodes ago, but at the bottoms of some of these trees, it's showing that it's actually maple wood, and you can harvest maple syrup off of those, which is kind of an interesting process. If you chop it, you get nothing, right? However, if you have silk touch, like my axe does, my pickaxe, you can actually get the maple wood. So I've already collected some of this, but it's a resource that you can't make, as far as I know. As far as I know. Yeah, it just occurs in the wild, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and silk touch it. Number 3 or 4? I don't know. I'm losing track. I've been recording too much today. I have no idea how many that's been. So we have a couple more tricks up our sleeve for storage drawers. So it's not going to be as simple as just tossing everything in there. Yeah, we're going to have to go ahead and do a little bit of processing and such to get all the items we need. For example, I just want to make sure I have iron ingots on hand, and gold ingots and copper ingots. I don't have any copper ingots on hand, and that way we will be able to lay everything out for our storage drawer system. By the way, I was testing out the item router a little bit more. I have conveyor belts filtered, and so they're always going to go out the same spot. Okay, I guess they're not. Wow, I guess they're not. But if you take, say, spruce wood, wow, well, that's disappointing. Really? So let's take spruce wood. North, 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 north. Oh, that's the way I came from, no wonder. Okay, let's try this again. South. So when you have it filtered, if there's a way for it to go, it'll always go that way. Right? Every single time. Every single time. If you don't have it filtered, then it can go in any of the other directions. It can't go in the direction that's filtered. So the reason why it's going east and west is because east and west, they have nothing filtered in them at all. So I'm considering it. Maybe this would make it to where it'll be really easy for us to filter our processing stuff, but we'll have to see. It is pretty powerful, especially if you only have a few items that you want to exclude from a certain direction. Really powerful. So I'm trying out this capacitor of what is this doing here? The incredibly big impossible capacitor. It's causing my furnace to burn a ton per tick, but wow, look how fast it's processing. It looks like that hopper is having trouble keeping it filled up. Oh yeah. I like the way that looks. So anyway, I'm busy processing up all the dusts and grits and gravels and whatever we're getting out of our ores, so that we will have ingots. We want ingots so that we know how we're going to store them. Exciting, huh? Back in a minute. Okay. So here's part of what we were preparing. When you have a lot of different mods together in the same pack, you end up with some Ore Dictionary interesting things going on. You can see here we've got nickel from Immersive Engineering, Invar from Railcraft, which Invar is not even from Railcraft, steel from Thermal Foundation. There's also Railcraft steel and Immersive Engineering steel. So how is a drawer network gonna take care of all of that? And the answer is they're Ore Dictionary by default. So if you have something like, let's see, a tin ingot. Where's our other tin? Yeah, here's our other tin. You have something like a tin ingot. Yeah, that'll work. From two different mods. When you stick the first ingot into the storage drawer, it'll set the type. You set further ingots in there, and it will match them up, and it will put one mod's stuff into the storage drawer. So now you can see I have all Thermal Foundation tin ingots. Very nice. And it'll do the same for anything that has an Ore Dictionary entry. So this aluminum from Thermal Foundation, we can make everything into aluminum from Thermal Foundation. Excuse me. We might or might not want to do that because it just depends on which one you want. If you know you're going to store everything in one place like this, you can set it up at the beginning so that you get the ore that you like the best. Like if you like Thermal Foundation silver, if you like the way that it looks, stick it in there. If you like somebody else's silver, then you can stick that in there. It can be a little tough to tell ingots apart sometimes when you've got, 40 ingots and is this tin, is this silver, what? And then if you had another, aluminum right there next to it, they all start kind of blending in. So you can just pick whatever you want and set it in there, and then you don't have to worry about it. The Ore Dictionary compatibility will take care of it. Also, we have another type of drawer here we haven't looked at yet, and that excuse me, and that's the compacting drawer. The compacting drawer, it can hold any kind of an item. Let's try this. Let's try wood planks first. It holds items just like anything else does. However, if it's an item that has certain kinds of recipes, you get extra function out of it. For example, if we stick redstone in there, ooh, what do we have here? With redstone, you can craft redstone dust into a block of redstone, right? Or you can craft a block of redstone into redstone dust, whichever one you want. So if you stick them into a compacting drawer, you can pull them out as whichever one you want. For example, I can pull out blocks of redstone. I put redstone dust in there, but I can get blocks of redstone out. Yeah. So now it's only got 6 redstone in there. It doesn't have enough to make another block. So it's not letting me have it. Oh. And also, if it's for example, if you put something like, let's find, yeah, gold's a good example. You put something like gold in there, gold blocks can be crafted back and forth with ingots, and ingots can be crafted back and forth with nuggets. So you can take out whichever form that you want. Pretty useful. If you have an item like gold, we're going to be using a lot of nuggets for different recipes, and we'll be using, you know, some of all of it. So that can be really useful, especially if you know that you're going to have your ores get smelted, and when your smeltery delivers the resources to you, it's going to be an ingot, right? But when you use it, you might need it in a nugget form. So even if you never used a gold ingot for anything, if that's how your smelting is going to give it to you, a compacting drawer is a really good way for you to store it. And, you know, if we wanted to, we could use our tinker smeltery to process our ores and have it cast out blocks, and then have the blocks pushed in here, and we can get it whichever one we want. Pretty cool, huh? So I'm going to count up the different metals that we're actually going to need to have in a compacting drawer, and I'll make a number of compacting drawers to satisfy those. The downside of a compacting drawer is that you only get half the capacity. You can see at the Wayla tooltip up there, it says stack limit 16. A regular drawer has a stack limit of 32. So you get half of the storage capacity, but you get a lot of function out of it. So we'll have to choose, not carefully, but in order to make our system hold as much as possible, we'll just use certain types of items in here for compacting drawers. Okay, so after looking through a bunch of recipes, the only thing that I saw that really needs multiple forms is redstone, because we use redstone blocks and dust, right? And gold, because we use gold nuggets. Sometimes we use gold ingots. Everything else pretty much just uses the ingot and maybe the block. Now for iron, Open Computers uses lots of nuggets, lots and lots of them. So yeah, it would be kind of nice to have it for that reason. We may get into Open Computers later, but like we said, the drawer has half the storage. Hopefully, once we get a lot of mining going on, we're going to have more iron than just about anything else. So I don't want to have a half capacity drawer for our #1 resource. Yeah, so there. So I'm going to craft up some more drawers. Actually, we've looked at it before. There are some drawers that are split so that they can contain 2 different items, right? And then there's also drawers that have 4 different items, and each item can only be, I guess it's 8 stacks. Each one of those can only be 1/4 of a normal drawer. So yeah, we'll have to decide what's going to be worth having a full drawer, like, you know, iron ingots and stone, and we'll have to decide what will be okay with a half drawer and what will be okay with a full drawer. One of the advantages of using half and 1/4 drawers is space. They take up a lot less space. So I don't know, probably I'll just start by covering it all with full-size drawers and trim, and then we'll see which ones just aren't using up that much, which ones just need to be downgraded to make room for more. Number 3 or 4 or 5 or something. Anyway, we're almost done getting the storage room ready. And I was just thinking a second ago, we actually don't need to store every single possible item in there. You know, like you don't have to store wooden storage crates. There's absolutely no reason to store that. We don't have to store our bees. Thank goodness. Trying to get bees to fit into drawers. Madness. Total madness. But, yeah. So, really, its main purpose is going to be to accept all of the resources that we get from mining. Probably not a lot of stone from mining. But the other stuff, yeah, we're going to need that. So I'm going to look through our ingots and decide which ones I think I like the looks of. And yeah, we'll get these sorted out. I'll show you when I get done. Intruder! Intruder! Intruder must die! Intruder must give us a dimlet? Oh. The dimlet parcel. Oh, shut up, ghost of Enderman. You're already dead. You don't even know it. Did we get... No, that was the other one I picked up. That was number 3, 4, 5, whatever. Yeah. Back in a second. Okay, I happen to know for a fact this time there's a creeper out here. Just waiting to jump on me and... Yeah, you punk. Wow. Derpy Creeper. Derpy Creeper is bad at his job. Anyways, yeah. We've mostly got this sorted out. It's mostly going to be metals in here. So, yeah. We may end up having a point where we've got everything stored in here, or at least stuff like cobblestone, whatever. Because Applied Energistics does connect to storage controllers and use them as storage. So that's nice. That's really nice. Gold. Footsteps. I hear you. Where are you? Jerk. Constantly trying to blow my stuff up. Jerks! Man, what jerks. You might have seen it, but that guy's gunpowder got sucked into the system. So now we have... Where is it? Gunpowder? Huh. That's weird. Interesting. You know what? We're going to have to test this to make sure that it's properly storing things. If it doesn't see a place to store something, it should try to stick it into an empty drawer. Yeah, so it should try to stick it in an empty drawer. I think if we did the gunpowder again, it would go into an empty drawer. Probably what happened was that piece got too far, whereas if it came on the front, it would end up falling in like that. Yeah, that's probably what happened. Let's see if that's true. Yeah, so there's some gunpowder there, and there's some there. Okay, so that's what happened. Anyway, more sorting. Almost done. Okay, I've cleared out my inventory. Let's figure out what we got in this dimlet parcel. We got a rarity 1. Oh, that's exciting. And a digit type controller. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing exciting there. Okay, so I just said okay again. I'm trying really hard not to do that. I'm failing though. Oh. The next thing we need to do is we need to figure out which types of things that we're likely to get when we're mining that we don't want to go into the crusher. So we don't want this to go in there. Don't want that. Don't want that to go in there. Don't want this or this. Don't want this or this. Don't want this. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. I know some of the ores probably are better off being processed in some other way. I just can't be bothered. Like the nickel and uranium, the dilithium, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to look through and see the way that they produced, and then we'll be able to decide, you know, whether we want them to go this way or that way. So nickel, dilithium, come on, you. Dilithium. You can hammer it for 1. You can craft it with petrothium to get 2. Smelting is not very interesting. This small plate presser will give us 2. The actually additions crusher will give us 2. Okay. Our big crusher will give us 2. So far there's no reason to use something different. A pulverizer gives us 2. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, there's no reason not to use our big multi-block crusher. For the nickel, you know, you can get shiny if you process those in pulverizers. I think you can get it out of the crusher too, though. Let's check on that. Nickel. Nickel ore. Yeah, that'll provide shiny as well. An upgraded pulverizer will do a much better job, but I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to do it that way. So that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to exclude these things from going into the crusher. Or maybe, well, would it be easier to tell everything else it should go? How many items is that? That's quite a few different items, right? Hold on a second. I'm going to count this up. Okay, so I think I've figured out how we are going to route our traffic. We are going to use item routers. Item routers? Where did I put my item router? Did I put it in here? Yeah, I did. We are going to use item routers, but we're not just going to use one. So I've got my belt here. We're going to have to get our iron from over here. Man, I bet we are almost out of iron. Processed iron, anyway. 11. Oh, man. Okay, so let's get our component there. And then, what else did we need? 2 more iron and some planks. Piece of redstone. You know what, we're going to need more than one. I think it's time to throw some iron into the crusher. I have been putting it off on purpose just because I want to make sure we have enough ore in case we need it for filtering. But we don't need 2 stacks. Yeah, we don't need 2 stacks of ore. So let's go ahead and get this processing. So, almost. So, that should be enough. So here's the basic idea. The reason why I didn't want to use the item router definitely right at the beginning was because it can only filter something like 8 types of items, which, you know, it's a kind of limited, slightly limited. Yeah, slightly limited. But we can overcome that by using more of them. So what we'll do is we'll just have a line of item routers, and we'll put dropping conveyors over the top of them. And then on one side will be the items that'll go to be crushed in the crusher. The other side will be items that are not going to go that way. And so everything will get filtered out left and right, left and right. Left will go into the crusher, right will go off to be stored. Simple as that. So let me get these things made. Wow, how many iron components do I have? What happened to my iron components? I'm so harebrained sometimes. I'm going to get these crafted, and then after that we'll set it up. Alrighty. So we're going to do it something like this. Okay, and the item filters will go, yeah, might as well go like this. And that will give us like 40 different item types. And if we need to, we can bring it back this way some more and add more filtering. Okay. I'm going to need more scaffold. I'm using all my scaffold for construction. Okay. And do it like that. Now I have no idea what I'm going to stand on. My scaffolding is gone. What am I going to stand on? I have no idea. So, when we put our belts down, not like that, when we put them down in a reasonable, sensible way, like this, what will happen is our dropper belts will come across the top. Each one of these is going to have a filter setting. The items that we want to be crushed are going to go out the yellow side. Whoops, that'll be east. So, for example, we definitely want, well, let's find out. Do we want uranium ore crushed? Uranium. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what we would use it for. Because maybe it can be used for yellorium, like in an extreme reactor. Not quite sure. Yeah. Anyway, crusher will double with a chance for lead. That's pretty good. This will do that. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to say yes, we definitely want it to be sent off to the yellow side. So, uranium. And that's number one. If we were to take a hopper and stick it in here, he's going to spit off to this side. He's going to spit off to that side every time. Not most of the time, not sometimes, not maybe, every single time. Every time he's going to go to that side and he's going to go get processed. Excellent. That's exactly what we want. Anything that's not in the filter. Oh, I just realized. Yeah, so we're going to have to stick something in this other filter. Otherwise, the items that we don't want to be crushed, all of them, actually, let me put it this way. We can put 8 items in this filter, right? If we don't put something in this other filter, in the west filter, the green filter, if we don't put anything there, everything except for these 8 will get kicked out over here. That's not what we want, because if we have, like, you know, uranium, tin, copper, ferrous, iron, gold, and maybe one or two other things. If there's something else that we do want to get crushed, it needs to get filtered here. The only way it's going to get filtered there is if this doesn't pick it up. You are so rude. I'm having a conversation with myself here. Jerk. You're such a jerk. Okay, so for example, we don't ever want to crush a hopper, right? So any hoppers that somehow accidentally get over here, it will spit out this way. Now, the way that the rules of these filters work is that if an item can go in a filtered path, it will go in a filtered path. If there is no filtered path for it to follow, it'll try to follow an unfiltered path. So, one of these. And then if it can't follow any of those, then it simply won't go into the item router at all. So far my idea has been that each one of these would have a dropping filter on it. A dropping belt on it. And so if it can't go through this one because of the filters, it'll go to this one. And if it can't drop into that one, it'll go to this one. And so on until it gets to the last one. And then on the last one, we may have some stuff filtered in it, we might not, to go on the yellow side. But then everything that's not going to get crushed would drop in here and pop out here and follow a belt that way. That's the idea. But there might be a slightly easier way to do that. For example, if we go to each one of these and we filter the west side with a hopper, a hopper. If we do that, then here's what will happen, according to my theory. Well, we'll test it here in a second. The item will come here, and it'll look at the first dropper. It'll go to the first dropper belt, and it'll try to get into the item router. It'll look at the east, and it'll say, no, I can't. I'm not uranium. I can't go that way. And it'll look at the west, and it'll say, I'm also not a hopper, so I can't go that way. But then it'll look at the south, and it will say, okay, that's not filtered. I'll go that way. So what's to the south? It's the next item router. Yeah. So we'll have to see if this works or not. It may not. And we'll test it in a second. But it may be that everything will come in here and then get pushed through each item router until the last one. I hope that it doesn't work that way, because the item routers are supposed to refuse to allow something in if they don't have a way to push it. Well, if they start going down like this, then how are they going to control the traffic? That could even be really laggy, and that would be really bad. So let's see. We don't care that much about arrows. Let's use this as a test. It's going to get crushed. Why are you going to get crushed? Why would you? So it seems like I'm totally wrong. It's going this way even though there's nowhere for it to go. Maybe it's because we're using a hopper and we're pushing into it. I don't know. It's going in there every single time too. Strange. Well, if this turns out to be the dumbest idea ever, then I'll just cut it and you'll never see this part. Yeah.